हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
प्रवीणा माता जी, योगेंद्र प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
आनंद गिरिधारी प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा। प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
योगेंद्र प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
श्रीनिवास प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दिव्य हेमांगी माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा। We'll begin now. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangom langayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
Radha Bhavani Devi, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we begin our discussion. We discussed 16 so far. There are total 64. As we go ahead, some of them will be discussed in more details. So we are again back to the basics. We are discussing sadhana bhakti, how to practice devotional service. It is based on the instruction given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Rupa Goswami, who enunciated them in his book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which was summarized by Srila Prabhupada in the form of Nectar of Devotion. And there are 64 items. This is the 17th one, the demigods. One should not neglect to offer due respect to the demigods. One may not be a devotee of demigods, but that does not mean that he should be disrespectful to them. For example, a Vaishnava is not a devotee of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, but he is duty bound to offer all respects to such highly positioned demigods. According to Vaishnava philosophy, one should offer respect even to an ant. So then what is there to speak of such exalted persons as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma? There are many stories in Srimad Bhagavatam that do describe some apparent flaws in, say, Indradev or some other demigods like Surya Dev. But they are, yes, they are meant to teach us something that we should not act upon, some qualities we should not act upon. That being said, we also understand that they are great devotees of the Lord. That's why they are chosen on that position. Plus, in one of the Bhagavatam classes, we were discussing this point, how they may, some of them, like Lord Shiva is a pure devotee. He's in fact Shambhu Tattva, which is in spiritual world, in Sadashiv, he is directly expansion of Narayan. In material world, he is touched by the modes, or he takes charge of the modes, and that's why he becomes Shiva. Brahma is now a pure devotee. One thing we see in the scriptures, when the Supreme Lord appears or when Supreme Lord kills demon, we see the demigod showering flowers. When the Lord appeared, the demigods are dancing. So there are various instances we see how they are spontaneously attracted to the Lord, and how in case of any trouble situation, they always approach Lord Brahma. And if Brahmaji cannot solve, then they all come to Shvetadvip to meet Kshirodaksha Vishnu. So in that way, they are always, for anything beyond their ability, they always come to the Lord. And we also see in case of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, during his travel to South Indian tour, he would visit various temples of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva has a very unique position because Lord Shiva takes great pleasure to associate with pure devotees. And it is great anxiety for him to give benediction to demoniac people like Ravana and others. It's a great anxiety for him, but because he is bound by the laws of this world, which is if somebody does the appropriate austerities, then he's supposed to reciprocate. That's the nature of this world. But his heart naturally flows, like he will by himself, he will never go to demoniac people. He will go only by force because he is bound by the laws. But he naturally goes to Prachetas to be with them. Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto describes how Lord Shiva came to Markandeya Rishi to be with them. And we hear during the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when one devotee was going to Badrinath, Lord Shiva guided him that you go to Raghunath Das Goswami and donate your wealth there. And we also hear one devotee who was also like devotee of Lord Shiva. Then he wanted wealth. Then Lord Shiva directed him to Sanatan Goswami, who gave him the touchstone, which is in eventually the holy name. we hear how Sanatana Goswami has such a wonderful relationship with Lord Shiva, like great friends, which is natural because they are both pure devotees of the Lord. Um, and that's why when Sanatana Goswami wanted to leave being disturbed by the mosquitoes, Lord Shiva personally went and told the demigods, the demigod responsible for this mosquitoes and insect, that in this area there should not be, like, my devotee, my friend Sanatan should not be disturbed. And even till today, there are no ants or mosquitoes in that area. This is on the bank of Manasi Ganga in the Govardhan area in Vrindavan. So, and we see how Lord Shiva was so much attracted to Krishna's pastimes that he personally wanted to participate in them. Even the demigods, they appear in Lord Krishna's pastimes as Yadus. They all appeared when Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami describes when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed the first public Sankirtan to the house of Chand Kazi. All the demigods appeared to participate in those pastimes. So we see, yes, they do have material desires, not all of them, some of them. Yet they have great devotion towards the Lord. So I mean, they are Karma Mishra Bhakta, many of them, but still we see them as in much higher position than us. So one, yes, we are not devotees of demigods, we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but does not give us right to um, like speak anything or think anything wrong about them. Okay, and this is the last one in this chapter, which is not giving pain to any living entity. In the Mahabharata, it is stated, just as the affectionate father never gives any cause for fear and pain in his dealings with his children, so also Lord Rishikesh, Lord of all the senses, is very quickly pleased with those pure-minded people who are compassionate to all creatures and avoids being a source of any pain and harassment, fear and anxiety to them. A Vaishnava can never support animal slaughter or even give pain to any living entity. So this is the natural quality of a soft-hearted person. Is he, I mean, we see as one progresses in bhakti, the heart becomes softer and softer. In fact, it is described one of the qualities of an advanced stage of bhava, which is emotional love for Krishna, relationship, strong attachment with emotions towards Krishna. The primary quality is the heart is very, very soft. My spiritual master says, when the heart becomes as soft as butter, Krishna will come and steal it. So one should not give pain to any living entity. One of the reason we may give pain to other living entity is because we may see them responsible for anything wrong in our life. But the consciousness that is recommended is if somebody causes pain to us, then we see that as part of our own karma. Best is we see it as, oh, this person gave this trouble to me. Actually, I gave trouble to somebody else in a similar way. And somebody tolerated me. And now this person is just an instrument who is bringing back my own karma back to me. So when we hold ourselves responsible and grudge with ourselves that how bad was my past and what all activities I performed, then instead of shooting arrows on somebody else that others are responsible for my suffering, we cause ourselves responsible for our suffering. So a soft-hearted devotee, and then also if somebody is suffering, we should not like use or misuse the principle of karma. Like, oh, this person is going through this suffering, well, his own karma, what should I do? Rather, Krishna is very pleased when one is compassionate to all. Yes, the laws of karma are very strict, and everybody does get the punishment when it's destined for. Yet we use the principle of karma with compassion. And when Krishna sees that we are kind to all living entities, another thing is when we give hard time to somebody, it's going to come back to us also. So even if we think selfishly, even a harsh word spoken or an insult to somebody is going to come back to us. It is very nice quality of devotees that they become more and more sensitive in their dealings, how they're reciprocating, how they are behaving, because one is creating one's own future also. Here it says, Lord Rishikesh, the Lord of all senses, is very quickly pleased with those pure-minded people who are compassionate to all creatures and avoid being compassionate to all creatures. It also reminds me, sometimes we are compassionate to some and not to others, especially those who are engaged in outreach activities. Like, I made a recent visit to Gainesville. I was with Kalakanta Prabhu, and I was describing him that, Prabhu, there is this group of people, they are very good, and there are some people, they do show some interest in Krishna consciousness, but they seems to have some mental issues many times, or like lot of smoking, smelling, or like in Western world there are all kind of people, but they do still show some inclination towards Krishna consciousness. And I was telling him that, Prabhu, our fear is if we bring anyone to our center, then maybe the people who are like eager or who are like good class people, they may not find the place very attractive. Krishna consciousness is very attractive. It depends upon like-minded people attract like-minded people. So do we discriminate? And Kalakanta Prabhu said, Samadarshina. A devotee should not discriminate. Whatever one's mental condition is, physical condition is, emotional state is, bad habits are, whatever be one situation, always remember that everyone is still looking for Krishna. And the reason they are all in this particular situation is because of forgetfulness of Krishna. And then he was giving example how Prabhupada was Samadarshina. Either a homeless person comes to him or whoever comes to him, and Prabhupada was always thinking, okay, is this person, or only thing he said we should see is this person recipient to receive Krishna consciousness? If he is, then we should give him, and independent of what is their age, how they look, maybe old, like Samadarshina, whoever is willing to accept Krishna consciousness, we accept all. So one should not discriminate, because everyone is part and parcel. Everyone is a child of Krishna, independent of externals, and everyone has the right to love Krishna, and we cannot discriminate. So when Krishna says that one is compassionate to all, then Krishna is easily pleased. Okay. Now that's all in this chapter. Are there any discussion in these 2 points? Otherwise, we'll start a new chapter today.
Quick question, Prabhuji.
Question.
Dandavat Pranam.
Shilata Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Yeah. So in Mahabharata war, Krishna helped to Pandavas, right? Because they are his devotees, and whenever and wherever they need, he used to help them, right? So In case of Jesus Christ, when he was crucifying, why it had happened like that? I mean, he's the son of God, and he had great compassion for the people, and he used to, he tried to spread the God's word, right? So how, why he did not get that help when he was in need?
Very good question. This question was also asked by Pandavas to Bhishma Dev. Like Pandavas are also pure devotees of the Lord, and why they went through so much suffering. They were exiled, suffering to their wife. They were tried to burnt alive. They were poisoned. Their kingdom was taken away from them. Looking for something? Idli is here. You took it out. Took it out, right? Ravindra Prabhu took it out. Ask him. So Pandavas also went through a lot of suffering, and yes, Jesus Christ went through a lot of suffering. There are multiple reasons behind that. When it comes to us, how we see it as it's part of our karma. For them, Bhishma Dev says it's the will of the Lord, and my spiritual master explains, many times Krishna gives suffering to his own devotees, because in the suffering, what is their consciousness? Krishna exemplifies how great the devotees are by putting them in those trouble situations, how they react to those situations. And that becomes an example for the whole world to follow. What Jesus Christ did, how Pandavas reacted, how various pure devotees, how they react to suffering. Very inspiring. Now, one devotee was mentioning that Srila Prabhupada came to the West and his journey was very difficult. Now imagine Srila Prabhupada took a flight, he came to the West, flight was running that time. Suppose Krishna arranged money for Srila Prabhupada. He came to the West, no heart issues, no disease. And he gave a talk at the airport and 10,000 people attended and they became Krishna conscious. So we won't glorify so much. Now the story of Prabhupada without any money, with a heart attack, helpless, depending on Krishna, coming alone, don't know where to go, and so much difficulty he faced. And now we feel like, wow, Srila Prabhupada did so much for us. So it should be seen as Lord's will or Lord's pastime. Another thing, one devotee asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you are a pure devotee of Krishna, then why are you suffering so much? Prabhupada also went through a lot of troubles because health issues and many other issues. So Prabhupada said, because my disciples are not following the 4 regulative principles properly. One time, Jayapataka Maharaj was severely sick, and a devotee sent message, all the disciples, please strictly follow the 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. Because Prabhupada says otherwise the Guru also gets the suffering because the Guru takes the responsibility. Did that address some aspects of suffering onto pure devotees and normal people?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Yet at the same time, even if generally speaking, when it comes to suffering, when we see others suffering, it's good to see it as Krishna's will. When it comes to our suffering, it's good to blame ourselves instead of any instrument. Just Sanatana Goswami describes in his book Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the best religious principle is whatever it takes to maintain a state of humility. Whatever consciousness is required, whatever you want to think, it's okay. If it makes you become more humbled, then that is the right consciousness at that time. Okay. Another situation also, Prabhupada also mentioned that if you're trying to propagate Krishna consciousness and if there are a lot of troubles, then either it can be Krishna showing a way, or it can be Maya's influence. Like Prabhupada says, if no troubles means Maya is not taking you seriously. Otherwise, Maya can create obstacles in your life, so you're not able to spread Krishna consciousness movement. So there are actually many reasons the suffering may come in different forms. Okay, those were some reflections. Are there any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, sometimes unknowingly also we hurt some people, maybe like, and sometimes if we try to not to hurt, but some situations like we can't avoid. Like for example, few days back, I had one situation at my workplace that some person was not cooperating in the like regarding the work, and that's why like I have to tell my management, like manager, that this is happening. So, and I did not communicate to him anything in the like rude manner or something. I just didn't reply to his communication, and I just let my manager know. Now, after that, my manager took this matter to his manager, and just it was like regarding the work situation only. Like he didn't say that it is a complaint or something. Later to that, what happened, I don't know, but still I was like hesitating, like to let my manager know this or no, because unknowingly if that gives any, like if that will cause any hurt to that person, like I was little bit confused, but then again it was regarding the work, so I couldn't like kept it like this. So in such situations, what to do?
Mhm. I mean, I may not be able to answer specifically on the situation. I can say a general principle. General principle is, Prabhupada would say, to call a thief is not wrong. He said that principle. Many times in management, like even in temple management, if somebody is creating some anxiety to the temple environment, or not properly behaving with devotees, then they need to be trained. So to call a thief is not wrong. It all depends upon our motive and intention. Any activity done with the cause of envy will entangle us. But if it is a neutral and for the betterment of the project, then it is all right. Done with envy can come, I mean, it's not your case, but I'm just giving a general perspective that I'm complaining about somebody because they hurted me or they don't do what I say. And it's like, I don't like that. And when I'm in the center and for my comfort, I want that person to go away, then it becomes triggered by envy. But when the center is not I, and the center is the team, the center is a project, or for our case, the center is the temple. And then we take action. And if we take action for the betterment of spreading Krishna consciousness or some of like higher principles, then it is all right. So Mata, does it answer?
Yes, Prabhuji. So actually, in that case, what happened? Like that person is little bit, he shows attitude always. So this happened third time, and then third time I let my manager know, because second time I took supervisor's help, and third time I thought that now it's time my management to let it know. So was that the correct approach, or like, because sometimes I feel that if we if I don't give any action, if I don't take any action, it is going to repeat. But same time, I'm little confused, so that it should not create a reaction to myself. So I was like not sure what to do in such cases.
Yeah, I think it's okay if there is some misdemeanor at somebody's part. Even in temple situation, I'm relating because, a devotional environment. But if somebody does something wrong, it's good to go to the supervisor of that person so that they can make the judgment, and we can say, well, this is what my particular experience was, and then whatever you feel best is okay. I just want to bring to your notice, and that's all right. And let them decide. And we also have faith that whatever Krishna wants will happen, independent of what we say or we do. Krishna's will be executed. And if that person goes away, then we may be an instrument, but actually it is Krishna's will or their own karma. Everything plays a role. Is that all right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Just last follow-up question. So in such cases, what can we do, like, or what can we pray to avoid any consequences or reaction, if possible?
Okay, like for the betterment of the other people.
No, for us to come out of the reaction if unknowingly it comes.
Well, we basically pray. If we have to make a decision, then we pray to Krishna. Krishna, please let me not make any wrong decision. Please guide me in this situation. And then we look for signs. And Krishna speaks to us in many, many ways. Best thing is we don't make a decision in rush, and we wait what Krishna wants. And then we have faith that Krishna will guide us, and Krishna's will be executed anyways. All right.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Now we will discuss the Seva Paradhs. We are coming to chapter 8. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Oh, Krishna. Seva Paradh, there are many Seva Paradhs. We'll discuss them one by one. Seva Paradh, there are many kinds of aparadh. Aparadh is generally called offenses. There is Vaishnava Aparadh, there is Seva Aparadh. So first we'll discuss Seva Aparadh, or offenses while doing any service. One should not enter the temple of the deity in a car or palanquin or with shoes on the feet. The purpose behind all the Seva Aparadh, you will see many details here. How to properly execute devotional service, and the reason behind all those details is keeping Krishna in the center, whatever it takes to respect Krishna. Okay. Like when we are going in a palanquin, then in front of the deity, if we are unfit, that's okay if our health doesn't support. But if you are going and there are many servants now in front of Krishna, we are all servant. Based on our karma in this material world, we may be in different roles, like different people playing different dramas, different roles in a drama. Ultimately, we are all our only position is that we are servant of Krishna, and there is no difference between a poor and a rich, because it's just the laws of karma. Ultimately, all those situations are temporary. The only eternal situation is all living entities are equally part and parcel of Krishna. So, or palanquin or with shoes on the feet, one should not fail to observe the various festivals for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as Janmashtami and Rath Yatra. One should observe that. In Janmashtami, mainly like fasting till midnight, glorifying the Lord. Usually people take off and serve Krishna whole day. One should not avoid bowing down before the deity. If one sees the deity, it's nice to bow down. Again, everything is based on respecting Krishna. And Krishna also says, Mam Namaskuru, you pay obeisances unto me, pay your homage unto me. One should not enter the temple to worship the Lord without having washed one's hand and feet after eating. Um, like we don't go in an impure state. Again, when we go in front of the deities, generally the principle we follow is Krishna is the enjoyer. So if our hands are dirty, we don't go in front of the Lord with dirty hands. We wash the hand and then go. And whenever we go in front of the Lord, we pay our homage to the Lord. Feet washing, it's like I heard not every rule we will be able to apply, time to circumstances. In India, we see before coming to temple, there is foot wash area. In America, it's difficult, especially because of the weather here also. Everyone wears socks. One should not enter the temple in a contaminated state. One should not bow down with one hand, like bowing down with one hand. One should not circumambulate in front of Sri Krishna. One should not circumambulate in front of Sri Krishna. The process of circumambulating the temple is that one should begin circumambulating from the deity's right hand side of the temple and come around. Such circumambulation should be performed outside the temple structure at least 3 times daily. But I mean, some temples do provide provision in front of deities we circumambulate, but general principle is generally outside the temple. One should not spread his legs before the deities. If one is feeling some pain, then spread it sideways, not the foot should not face the Lord. One should not sit before the deity holding ankles, elbows, or knees with one hands. Basically, don't touch your foot while sitting in front of the deities. One should not lie down before the deity of Lord Krishna. Now, some of these may be difficult, like especially kids, they are sleeping in front of the Lord, but we allow that. So, Seva Parads, we should hear the Seva Parad, we should keep them in mind. Time, place, circumstances we should apply. We should apply these principles with compassion, and always preaching is more important than the rules and regulations. Srila Prabhupada always said, don't present Krishna consciousness as a set of rules and regulations. But most important thing is love and compassion and care. That's what we want. Like if a mother asks, like it happens many times, if a mother asks, Prabhuji, can we come for morning program? And can our kids sleep in the temple hall? Because if we bring them in the morning, they will sleep. Otherwise, even I cannot come. Then we apply principle based on whatever is helpful for the jiva, for the living entity to grow. So then we compromise that seva parad and we say, yes, Mata, please come. It's okay. If the kid wants to sleep, that's okay. Now it's not possible to say, let the kid go upstairs and sleep and you be down chanting. It's not practical. So we apply these seva parads. For us, try your best. Difficult, no problem. It is said seva parads are not very serious if you're not able to follow some of them. Chanting of Hare Krishna will free us from seva parads. But as much as possible, if it is possible, avoid them. So just education. One should not lie down before the deity of Lord Krishna. One should not accept prasad before the deity. So this is important. If even in the home, if you have deities, if you have an altar, either eat in a separate room or close the altar with the curtain before we eat. Even in temples, like many temples, they don't have so much space. So the temple hall is used as a prasadam hall also, but they make sure that the altar, the curtain is closed. Again, the principle is why the Seva Parad Krishna is the center. That's what we are trying. All the Seva Parad means when we bring ourselves in the center in front of Krishna, then with that consciousness creates aparad. And
Prabhuji, like we drink sometime of water, like if there is extreme hot, then we drink water in the hall. Is that fine? Like, or is that part of aparad?
you mean in temple hall?
Yes.
Yeah, so Prabhuji, see what I usually do is I go in the side room, or I make myself not visible to deity, and then I drink the water.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yes. Prabhuji,
Answered?
also, like, another question, like now this is not related to it, but I mean a kind of like when we do Tulsi Aarti, sometimes we close the curtains. Like why do we do that?
Yeah, thank you. So generally speaking, a devotee is not worshipped in front of Krishna. Generally, Prabhupada is an exception. We worship Guru Puja in front of Krishna also. One reason can be seen as Krishna or Guru is Sakshat Haritva, directly representative of the Lord. Or when Krishna is there, then we only glorify Krishna. But in case if you keep the altar open and worship Tulasi, Krishna is pleased with that also. But all the seva aparadh, the consciousness behind which they are written is keep Krishna in the center.
Okay. Yes.
Question.
Abhinav Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, at home we have Krishna's photo like in the front of dining table at all the places in the home. So should we avoid eating over there as well?
Prabhuji, in front of picture, I mean, it's okay. I mean, even we all have our own rooms, even in a temple, and we have some picture of the Lord and we eat in the room. But specifically altar, maybe we can try to follow them and limit to just to altar, these principles.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay, please give me 1 second. Someone is trying to reach out to me. Anyways, we'll see. Okay. Then one should not accept prasad before the deity. Yeah, one should never speak a lie before the deity. I mean, as much as possible, one should not lie. It's okay not to speak if you think saying truth is again, the principle of lying is whatever is conducive for, I mean, whatever pleases Krishna. Like one devotee wanted to go for Vrindavan Yatra with Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. Then he told, what can I say in the office? Can I say I'm sick? And Saraswati Thakur says, yeah, you can tell in the office you are sick because you are spiritually sick. We are all sick souls who are away from Krishna, and we have been cultivating the desire to enjoy this material world. So we are all sick by avidya, by the three more. So you can say I'm sick, so I'm going, I cannot come to office. So Saraswati Thakur made those exceptions there. Generally speaking, we should not lie before the deities. Also, as much as possible, we should not criticize anyone in front of deity. We should not glorify anyone in front of deity as much as possible. We should not bow down to anyone in front of deity. I mean, but these are all seva aparadh. They will come, we'll go in sequence, but base behind everything is Krishna is the center. One should not talk very loudly before the deity. One should not talk with others before the deity. One should not cry or howl before the deity.
Prabhuji, can I ask you a question?
Yes, Angidari Prabhu.
Prabhuji, many times say we have brahmacharis, senior brahmacharis, or senior devotees who are giving a class in temple hall. At that time, we do bow down to them.
Yes.
So
Yes.
is that okay?
Yeah, okay, very good question, Prabhu. Generally speaking, it depends. Again, I said Seva Aparadha are not as severe as Vaishnava Aparadha. Scriptures don't recommend us to bow down in front of deities. There is one example in Chowpatty, one sannyasi was visiting, and one devotee came and he bowed down to sannyasi, and sannyasi became angry. And sannyasi told him, "Haven't you read Nectar of Devotion where it says one should not bow down to anyone before the deity?" And the sannyasi was actually angry um, with the devotee who bowed down. And later on, this question was asked to His Holiness Radharani Swami Maharaj, what do we do when a sannyasi comes and we bow down? So Maharaj said, well, it is true, we should not bow down to anyone before the deity. It is also true that we should not criticize anyone before the deity. So it is also not true that somebody criticizing that why did you bow down angrily. Um, so Maharaj said, of the two, if you have to choose one, then better bow down. At least Krishna is pleased with when devotees are pleased. Um, um, Generally, what I personally do, Prabhuji, is um, like if you see in our temples, in the morning, all the devotees bow down to each other, Vanchakalpataru Vesha, but that time curtains are closed. So generally rules are made in such a way that the deities are not visible. And if we do see somebody, some great souls, and we want to bow down, then we bow from the place that the deities don't see us. We just walk to a location, bow down to from, or sometimes, I'm in temple and some devotees come and they're about to bow down. If they bow down, then I bow down because it's more important to reciprocate with devotees' love. But at the same time, if I can, then I tell them, okay, let's go out and let's bow down. And then I go out of temple hall and then bow down. So if we are conscious of it and if we are trying, then that's sufficient. Sometimes it won't happen. Don't worry about it. Is that all right? Angridhari Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much for clarifying.
Okay. And then one should not quarrel or fight before the deity. That's why one time I remember there was some intense emotions were there. Something was happening in a temple. I don't remember what happened. So we had to make some decision. So I was there, Shyam Kishore Prabhu was there, Bhavacharya Prabhu was there, Yugal Kishore Prabhu was there. And some discussion had to happen. And it was a morning time. We all were there in front of deities. And Prabhuji said, okay, let's not discuss this here. Let's go up and discuss. No subject matter here. So generally, we avoid any management discussion also in front of the Lord. No quarrel or fighting before the deity. I mean, best is don't quarrel, but you have to quarrel, go out of temple hall. One should not chastise anyone. This is something I mentioned just before this. Should not chastise anyone before the deity. One should not be charitable to beggars before the deity. Again, that gives a feeling of greatness to oneself. So not before the deity. One should not, like, deities are there and we're like, oh, no, I mean, we don't give to devotee somebody, yeah, take it. I bless you. So those kind of things are not good. One should not speak very harshly to others before the deity. One should not wear a fur blanket before the deity. No animal products, basically. One should not eulogize or basically glorify or praise anyone else before the deity. Like, even in front of spiritual master, when we go in front of spiritual master, we don't glorify somebody that we actually glorify. We always keep the spiritual master in the center. Always keep the senior devotees in the center. We should not generally glorify those who are juniors as per etiquette in front of seniors. This is a general etiquette. Or like, suppose if in front of, just give me an example, if you want to glorify a senior devotee in front of a spiritual master, then we can say, Maharaj, by your mercy, we are receiving your mercy through this devotee. Or we always keep Guru in the center. Always keep the glorification of the senior personality in the center. And same thing is with Krishna also. When deities are there, it is Krishna's mercy, Prabhuji, that we met you. It was Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy is flowing through you. So there are many ways we can glorify devotees, but always Krishna there. Then that is the right way. So if you want to glorify your praise before the deity, generally speaking. But again, in our temple also, we don't strictly follow this all the time, because so many visiting guests comes and we glorify them. They serve Prabhupada like this, so they open the temple in this area, they did this service to Prabhupada, and Krishna is pleased. But again, apply according to timely circumstances. One should not speak any ill names before the deities. So something we should strictly apply, and some are, if it is for the pleasure of devotees, then we also remember Krishna says, those who are devotees of my devotees are my devotees, and those who are my devotees are actually not my devotees. And Krishna's main purpose is to glorify devotees, and when he sees devotees are being praised, then Krishna is naturally pleased. So those principles are also there. But when we come to Seva Prad, it's mainly they are designed by keeping Krishna in the center. That's how these rules are designed. One should not pass air before the deity. If one has to pass air, it produces bad smell. We don't want Krishna to smell bad. That's the principle. It's okay to go a little bit away from the deity in case. One should not fail to worship the deity according to one's means. It is not that one should try to satisfy the Supreme Lord with a little water and a leaf, and for himself spend all his money in sense gratification. Rather, one should serve the deity to the best of one's ability. Like there's saying, Krishna does not see how much you give, Krishna sees how much you keep. Based on our whatever we have is based on our karma, and whatever our karma or our past has given us, according to our position, we serve Krishna. It is not that for Krishna a leaf is enough. Anyways, he says a leaf, so let's offer him a leaf. One should not eat anything that is not offered first to Krishna. That's again keeping Krishna in the center. One should not fail to offer fresh fruits and grains to Krishna according to the season. Wow, this is also Seva Prad. And I don't think I follow this. But yes, whatever is seasonal, again, and there all these rules and regulations are designed based on keeping Krishna's pleasure, keeping Krishna in the center. Now, 27 to 32, after food has been cooked, no one should be offered any foodstuff unless it is first offered to the deity. One should not sit with his back toward the deity. One should not offer obeisances silently to the spiritual master, or in other words, one should recite aloud the prayers of spiritual master while offering obeisances. We see many Prabhupada disciples, when they bow down, anytime we bow down, this prayer should come. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate, your spiritual master name, Swaminiti Namine, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishishunevat Paschatya Deshatani. So these prayers we offer while bowing down. When we bow down in front of Prabhupada, when we bow down in front of Radha Gopijana Vallabha, or at any point of time we bow down for whatever reason, we should offer first prayer to Guru, and we should not, it is one thing it is said, we should not even take the name of a spiritual master loud, in a way like we should not reveal our spiritual master to others. One should not reveal to others how many rounds we chant, show to others who is our Guru. Generally speaking, we are not so strict in ISKCON generally, but we should try to follow as per Sanatana Goswami Hari Bhakti Vilas. But we should not be too loud, but we can be very soft, like So just at least be presence of the spiritual master. Uh, one should not fail to offer some praise in the presence of spiritual master. When you see what is introduced us to Gurudev, that Guru Maharaj, this devotee is doing this service, Guru Maharaj, please bless him. So our mood should be, Guru Maharaj, whatever it is, by your mercy. We are able to do it by your mercy, by your mercy. Always glorify Guru. Give the praise to Guru. That's what we are trained, not take to oneself, because it is Guru's mercy. One should not praise himself before the spiritual master. This is very good, very bad actually. It's called what is called? It's called like worshipping oneself. I think it's something like Atma Upasana, or I forgot. Yeah, one should not worship oneself in front of Guru. Guru Maharaj, I did this, and Guru Maharaj, you know what? I did this also, and Guru Maharaj, I do this service. And Guru Maharaj, there's no I. Guru Maharaj, by your mercy, this was done. Guru Maharaj, by your mercy. So one should not praise or tell me, Guru Maharaj, I am an insignificant devotee, I'm trying to serve. Everything is by the mercy of devotees who are engaging me. So one should not praise oneself before spiritual master. If somebody else praises us, then again, we should give the credit to Guru only. One should not deride the demigods before the deity, because there is the intimate relationship between the Lord and his devatas. So one should not deride them before the deity. Okay, continued further. One should not touch the deity in a dark room. So that's why before we open the culture in the altar, first turn on the light. We don't enter Radha Gopi Janavallabha inner chamber in dark. First we turn on the light, ring the bell, knock the door, and then we go. One should not fail to strictly follow the rules and regulations in worshipping the deity. There are actually total 64 Seva Aparadh. And one Seva Aparadh is to fail to strictly follow the rules and regulations worshipping the deity. But one should be careful. One should get properly trained how to worship the deity, what mantras to chant before, and do it rightly. It is said that Radhanath Maharaj was mentioning before, when he was in New Vrindavan, he would worship the deities. He said he was very carefully following all the 64 Seva Aparadhs, so that he don't want to commit any offense. But naturally, knowingly, unknowingly, we will be committing offense, and that's why there are mantras for begging forgiveness also. One should not enter the temple of the deity without first making the sound. Before you enter, knock. Or when you have nothing to knock, and then open the altar, make a sound. Because we want the Lord to be like just letting him know that, okay, we are ready for some service to you. One should not offer any foodstuff to the deity which has been seen by dogs or other lower animals. Even seen by them becomes contaminated. One should not break silence while worshipping. Usually the devotee or the pujari in the altar should not speak unless necessary. Something urgent, okay, exceptionally, but should not speak. Okay. One should not pass urine or evacuate while devotees should take bath in case of emergency, but generally not in between. One should not offer incense without offering some flowers. We always offer flowers. Like if you see Tulsi Aarti, we do like half Aarti. So we offer incense, we offer lamp, and we offer flower. Flower is an important ingredient in deity worship because Vrindavan is full of flowers. Useless flowers without any fragrance should not be offered. So generally, in America, all the flowers are without fragrance. So we offer a Q-tip, and then we offer some scent, natural scent that we get from India. uh, uh, with the flower, because we don't want to offer flowers without fragrance. One should not fail to wash his teeth very carefully every day. One should not enter the temple directly after sexual intercourse. One should not enter the temple after touching a woman during her menstrual period. One should not enter the temple after touching a dead body. We take bath. One should not enter the temple wearing garments of red or blue color, or garments which are unwashed. Like, we don't come in front of deities in dirty clothes. Every day we take shower, and every day we change our clothes to fresh clothes, and then we come to the temple. Or we don't wear red or blue garments. I don't know how to apply this, or it's okay if you cannot follow. One should not enter the temple after seeing a dead body, or after seeing a dead body, or after touching a dead body. One should not pass air within the temple. Some repeat here. One should not be angry within the temple. One should not enter the temple after visiting a crematorium. One should not belch before the deity. So until one has fully digested his food, he should not enter the temple. One should not smoke before the deity. One should not take opium or similar intoxicants. One should not enter the deity room or touch the body of the deity after having smeared oil over his body. So even if we are like Radha Gopi Vallabha Salves, even if our skin is very dry, so we don't apply any moisturizer or any oil before we start the deity worship. We don't do that. After deity worship, we can use for practical purposes, but not before deity worship, because oil is also considered as an impure substance. So we don't use oil on our bodies before we go to the altar of the Lord. One should not introduce any opposing scripture. One should not chew betel nut, like chew beetle, before the deity. One should not offer a flower that was kept in an unclean pot. If a flower even fell down to the ground, we don't offer. We just throw it. Or generally speaking, or a flower in an unclean pot, we don't offer. Fresh flowers.
Hare Krishna,
One
Prabhu.
should not worship the Lord while sitting as complete. Divya Hemangi, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, is it for me, like your voice is lagging? Is it for only for me or it's for everyone? Just wanted to check.
I don't know. Let's ask others.
There is little disturbance, probably. There is little lag.
Should I try turning off my video? I think we are almost at the end. I think there's 2 more slides before we end Seva Prat section. Should I turn off my video and see?
Yeah, Prabhuji, you can try. Actually, there is like your one sentence is missing like 2-3 words.
So, Mata, how is it now?
Yeah, it's better now, Prabhuji.
Okay, let's see. Otherwise, we will share all these presentations with everyone. So, I mean, it's there in the book, and you will have this presentation copy, and you can again read for yourself. They are all self-explanatory. One should not worship the Lord while sitting on a bare floor. Usually, if you are sitting, take a mat and sit there. One should not worship the Lord while sitting on a bare floor. You can sit in temple hall while listening a class or otherwise, okay. But when you are worshipping the deities, especially, we should have a mat underneath. One should not touch the deity before one has completed taking bath. One should not decorate his forehead with the 3-line tilak. We usually use 2-line tilak. One should not enter the temple without washing his hands or feet. This is repetitive. one should not offer food stuff which is cooked by a non-Vaishnava. Actually, the reason there are some repetition is because Rupa Goswami has taken some from Padma Puran and some from other scriptures. So some of them repeat, and Rupa Goswami has combined all the different scriptures and given a set of all Seva Parad. And that's why some repeat we see. Then one should not offer food stuff which is cooked by a non-Vaishnava. One should not worship the deity before a non-devotee. And again, the reason behind it is in front of non-devotee. If we worship deity, they may think, what we are doing, these are all rituals, I don't believe in all these things. So they may mentally commit an offense. So better let the non-devotee, they come to your home, don't do arati, let them go first. And then you worship, because they may not be able to appreciate, and then they will commit mental offenses to the Lord or to devotional service. One should not engage himself in the worship of the Lord while seeing a non-devotee. Ganapati. Okay, so that's all we will discuss about Ganapati Ganesh next week. Okay, any discussion? Again, if you're not able to follow some of them, no need to worry. Seva Prats are easily forgiven, but try as much as you can. Yes, Divya Himangi Devi, I saw your.
Prabhuji, just one follow-up question with the pictures of the deities. So, like sometimes we have the picture of our altar, to offer sometimes, because every time it's not possible, like sometimes to go to the altar and offer. So we have picture in front of like altar's picture to offer like food or anything, or like water. So what about those pictures, Prabhuji?
I mean, we have to be practical also. Maybe I think it's safe to follow whatever rules practical for us only in front of the altar. Like I know one time Jayapataka Maharaj was visiting Detroit. Then he sent a list of things, like his servant sent a list of things that Jayapataka Maharaj does not want in his room. And he mentioned that there should be no picture of Krishna in my room. He mentions, wherever I will see no picture of Krishna, because he sees Krishna in every picture. So he doesn't want to offend the Lord. So his mood is like, I don't want to commit any aparadh. So no picture of Krishna. Because we may sleep and picture of Krishna maybe in the wall in front of our foot where we are sleeping. If we put picture of Krishna all over the place, so difficult to follow. So, but again, it depends. It's an individual mood. But it's at least we should try to follow whatever possible in our little home altar. Is it all right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank
Okay.
you. Hare Krishna.
Pranamata, Hare Krishna. Anything else before we end? Yeah, I believe so, because it was highly technical discussion today and just details, didn't discuss much. Okay, so
Hare
if
Krishna,
we...
Prabhuji, one last question.
Hashini Mataji, go ahead.
Shall we not keep Tulsi Maharani in front of our like gods at home? Like, don't have deity still, but still, I mean, is that okay or no?
So shall we not keep Tulsi Maharani in front of?
Like home, we have altar, right? So in front of that, if we keep like, and if we worship, then it's not correct.
Yeah, okay. Tulsi worship is okay, because Krishna will be pleased. I think it's okay. Generally in temple, when we worship Tulsi, we close the curtains generally. But if it is not possible, suppose your altar doesn't have a curtain, based on time to circumstances, apply the principle. But certainly we don't keep Tulsi generally in the eating area or bedrooms, generally speaking.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mata. There is Padmavati Mata.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can we put in our altar Jagannath deities, Prabhuji?
Jagannath deities?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, many of our temples have Jagannath. Jagannath is Krishna.
Okay. Any restrictions, Prabhuji? Any instructions to follow?
Jagannath deities, well, we offer twice. Prabhupada said, Gaunita deities, at least one offering. Jagannath deities, 2 offering. Radha Krishna deities, 3 offering. If you want to invite Jagannath at your home, dress them regularly. That regular can be once in 15 days, like on every Ekadashi or bi-weekly on a weekend. Just simple dressing, keep glasses of water, make 2 offerings. The offering can be simple, like fruits and nuts also, that's okay. Make 2 offerings. Go ahead. I will turn off my video so I can hear you. Yes, Mataji, Padmavati Mataji, go ahead.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Okay.
You understood?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, and 1 arati we do. If we invite deities, 1 arati every day.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anything else before we end?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Sukumari Radha. Yes, yes.
Prabhuji, like if we feel like picture is Krishna himself or Gaurnita himself and Radharani himself, so do we, is it okay to keep in our rooms, Prabhuji, like bedrooms?
Yeah, it depends upon your bhav, Mata. Like I gave example of Jayapataka Maharaj. He doesn't want any picture of Krishna in his room, wherever he stays. It's a mood. Some may prefer seeing Krishna and being Krishna conscious in the room. Some may prefer, let's avoid any offenses, so let's not keep, just based on your bhav. I mean, it depends upon your feeling. You like, you see Krishna and you are eating and you feel like, oh, I'm not doing right. Then, okay, do whatever it takes to adjust. Did I answer your question, Martha?
Yes, Prabhuji. Like sometimes, like keeping pictures in kids' room, like at least like I feel like maybe they will get chance to glance at that picture. So
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. So that's why I said follow this principle as much as possible near the altar, and that's sufficient in the home. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to do anything in the house. All right.
thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Any other clarification?
So yes, Prabhuji, I ask in incomplete, Prabhuji, like for keeping pictures in kids' room, like suppose like they are unknowingly like they do commit some mistakes, right, Prabhuji? Like still is it okay to keep, or like it's avoidable to keep pictures in kids' rooms? Prabhuji?
Yeah. So generally, I see
They do keep their feet unknowingly like on
yeah.
that direction, something like.
Yeah, and they may not have that consciousness. Oh my Lord, forgive me. Also, I mean, just unconsciously they do many things. Well, I understand. There are no hard and fast rule to this. Use the best discretion you can. It can be based on where the bed direction is, where the chair direction is, and where the picture can be safely located. You can think of those considerations and set accordingly.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. All right, so we will end it here. Prabhujis and Matajis, thank you all very much for joining. And if I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as a humble servant. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
Girish Prabhu and Girdhari Prabhu. Hare Krishna.